This week, Rhea and I are joining the state search and rescue crews to get an inside look at the latest equipment being used to save lives in some of the most sticky situations.
Then, Reece and Marianne are showing off the celebration of Salt Lake's newest park that features a meeting point at 3 Wasatch County creeks and the Jordan River.
And finally, we're going on the inaugural JJS Memorial Ride, which features a wide variety of machines and riders all coming together to raise funds for a great cause. At Your Leisure is next.
Well, if you think this is going to be a leisurely at your leisure, you're wrong. It's not going to be leisurely at all.
Welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth, along with Rhea Rossi Booth, and here with Sheriff Nate Curtis of Sevier County. And yeah, if you look at this calm background right now, it would belie the fact that there are plane wrecks nearby, and there are people who've fallen off of cliffs, somebody drowned, and there are people with multiple triage wounds that need to be pulled up from Lakeside.
Yeah, all because of this guy.
All because
it is my fault.
It is the annual search and rescue training that's designed to get people working together and learning new skills. How long have you been doing this, Nate?
So we've been doing this since 2009. So for 12 years, we've been able to bring these guys together from all across the state. And we've been able to share ideas, learn from each other, and absolutely network and actually learn more ways to do our job better. And what does that do? It preserves and saves lives for all our recreation.
Yes, unbelievable. Such dedication and work outside of your own jobs. It's all volunteer, right?
They are. These guys are the absolute cream of the crop, the best of the best. They are the volunteers. They're here on their own dime. We don't charge them, but they are here to make a difference in their communities.
Beautiful.
Yeah, from drones to dinghies to litters to drones. Oh, I already did that. We've done a whole circle. Let's find out how much fun this event is.
Well, you know, some canines, they go out there and they take down the bad guy. Well, these canines, they're bringing home the good guys. And we are with Laura Seymour from Rocky Mountain Rescue Dogs, and she's with her little pup, Lila. And tell us what you guys do with these awesome dogs.
Yeah, so we're from Rocky Mountain Rescue Dogs, and we actually have 2 more teams with us this weekend. We have Utah Search Dogs and Cold Case Canines, and we are a free resource for law enforcement agencies when they go out on searches.
Okay, great. So how long, okay, what do these guys do exactly?
So we have different specialties for all of our dogs, and they're all certified in different stuff. So we have live find dogs, and those go out, find lost hikers, anybody alive in the wilderness. Then we have cadaver and HRD dogs. So those are human remain detection in the wilderness as well. And then we have tracking trailing dogs. And that's kind of what you think of when they're on a lead and they follow exactly where the person goes.
Right.
And then we have water dogs for drowning victims, avalanche dogs, and disaster dogs.
Wow, that's a lot of applications.
Yes.
So would you just get like a little piece of like material and just let them sniff it and then they take off? How do they know where they're going? Like,
Yeah, so our live find dogs are actually, they can be scent specific. So they'll get a scent at the beginning of their work and they'll go and find that scent. Other dogs just go and find any human out in the wilderness.
Wow, isn't that fascinating? Yeah. These dogs are just beautiful, and you talk about a labor of love, because this is all volunteer.
Yes, it is all volunteer.
Amazing.
We make sure that it is free for anybody who needs us.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks so much, Laura. And right now, stick around, because we're going to be heading off to our where to.
For years, the important confluence was buried under a concrete slab littered with weeds, trash, and parked cars. Today, the slab is gone, revealing 200 feet of Red Butte, Emigration, and Parleys creeks in a restored channel that spills into the Jordan. A new 1-acre park with rock-lined waterways, landscaping with new trees, flowers, and bushes surrounds the waterways. The stumps in a sitting and play area were salvaged from downed trees from the Salt Lake Cemetery during last year's windstorm. New bridges, including a 120-foot span over the Jordan, provides a convenient connection with the heart of the Glendale neighborhood to downtown Salt Lake City. A second bridge features panels of locally produced metal artwork. Mayor Mendenhall says it's a safe and vibrant gathering place for residents on the west side and beyond to enjoy. The project cost $3 million. The city also built and opened new canoe and kayak access ramps along the Jordan River, here adjacent the Fisher Mansion off 2nd South, and here at a new park at the Gatsby Trailhead across from the fairgrounds on North Temple. And here near 10th North in Rose Park, Salt Lake City Public Works is finishing a stormwater collection park featuring streams and ponds that will cleanse stormwater naturally before draining into the river. The Jordan River Trail cuts through the park, including a huge boardwalk over the ponds. It is scheduled for completion this summer. The Jordan River was once considered little more than a floating sewer. Today, it is a restored ribbon of naturalness and a recreation centerpiece for the Salt Lake Valley. Reece Stein at your leisure with this week's Where To adventure at the new Creeks Confluence Park.
Hi, I'm Stephen Hawkins with this week's safety tip, brought to you by the Utah ATV Association and the Utah Off-Highway Vehicle Program. Today we're going to talk about maps and the proper way of reading them. If you're out on the trail and your GPS dies, now you have to refer to your paper map. Okay, the first thing you want to do is open up your map and find the legend and markers on the map. Okay, we have land ownership categories, BLM, recreation areas, state parks, and so on. This section here tells you roads and trails, highways, secondary roads, Great Western, ATV use allowed. This shows you where facilities are located, gas, food, lodging, and trailheads. This section here shows you where waterways are. Okay, your key will help you understand these things. You see a boundary here, boundary line. This color here indicates that this is a national park, national recreation area. This yellow area is BLM, and the green area here indicates wilderness. Each one of these grids, little square grids, equals 1 mile. The red lines here are ATV approved routes. Another key part of it is the route markers. These are junction directional markers. So when you come to a trail junction, this one shows Poison Creek Loop is going that way. This one indicates Pacer Lake Loop would be going to the right. These markers are reassurance markers, so you make sure you're on the same trail. ATV use, this trail is running that way, trail number 22. It is more difficult, and then this one would be more extreme. These markers are county road numbers. such as Garfield County. This would be Kane County, and then this would be a Forest Service road number. These ones down here are very important to pay attention to. Indicates whether it's closed, a wilderness study area, no motorized vehicles. So there's various different types of road closed depending on who the land ownership is. Now that you understand the map, how do you know what direction you're going? Here's how you orient your map to your compass. Top of your map is always north. Take your compass, put it on your map. Your red arrow indicates the north, so we need to rotate our map. Now our map is facing north. So you got north, south, east, and west. These don't cost a lot of money and don't take up a lot of room. You should always have them with you because electronics fail. That's this week's safety tip brought to you by the Utah AYLTV Association and the Utah Off-Highway Vehicle Program. Hope to see you out on the trail.
Sometimes you have to bring a little air power to the rescue. Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are on search and rescue maneuvers near Fishlake. But air power doesn't come easily. It's a special kind of recovery. So they have to practice. Here's the setup.
We have a mock helicopter rescue up here. We're like 1,000 feet above Fishlake right now. Chad's in the heli, and they're going to be landing in here, and this is exactly how they do it. And we also have like a mock plane wreck up here, okay? So we got all the safety people up here. We got everybody ready to rock and roll. And Chad's in that helicopter right now, and he's going to come down, and we'll have to talk to him and see how the ride was on the way up. I'm jealous. Let's check this out.
All right, thanks. So when they call for the rescue, there's a lot of coordination that goes on. DPS helicopters aren't just flying around. You've got to ask for the resource, get the resource delivered. Some of the things you have to take into account is, are there enough helicopters? Well, the DPS has 2. If they run out, we return to the military. The second most important thing is that there's got to be a lot of communication between the air team and their part of the rescue and what happens on the ground.
So this isn't real. This is how they got my injuries. They just put wax stuff on here and some charcoal powder to make it look black and blue, and some red goo that they just sprayed on to make blood. And on my head, I laid it on a rock, and that made it look more real.
I kind of tried to tuck myself away a little bit so I wouldn't be seen, and I could hear somebody coming, and then the dog got to me before anybody else did. So she started to signal, and then they finally saw where I was.
I've been trying to get this woman restrained for like 10 years.
I feel really safe. I really do. These guys know exactly what they're doing. This is excellent.
Anyway, search and rescue can always deliver on the promise of getting people out of really tricky spots. And we have just proved that point right here. But right now, it's time for you to get to your own tricky spot. This week's Along the Way.
Throughout the past year, it's been shown time and time again how generous, caring, and thoughtful members of the outdoor community are. Celebration rides, charity events, and giveaways are just a small representation of how these folks give so much. In some cases of extreme tragedy, the most generous thing one can do is give others a new lease on life. This is exactly what Jaden Snyder and his family were able to do in his final moments.
Well, our son passed away last year, July 17th, and so his angel anniversary is coming up, and his passing saved 4 lives, 2 people's sight, and many other people donated from the tissue donation, you know, and other things went towards research.
Jaden was an avid lover of all things outdoors. Now, a year after his passing, his friends and family have decided to celebrate his life by engaging in each one of his passions in his very own memorial ride.
We're wanting to find a way to honor our son, honor his hobbies. So we had 3 rides. There was a motorcycle ride that went through the Nebo Loop. We had the side-by-sides that went out the Monopole Trail, just east of Nephi. And we've got the Jeep group that went out into the Tinnick Mountains.
I've been friends with the family for a long time, watched Jaden grow up, and you know, we had that commonality, you know, four-wheeling and jeeping and stuff. And not long before he died, I actually got a phone call one night where he was stuck up on the hillside, and yeah, can you come rescue me?
The memorial ride is a heartwarming way for loved ones to remember Jaden and the time that they spent with him. But perhaps the most significant honor to Jaden's memory is the impact that he's had on the lives of so many others in the wake of his passing.
We were always a donor. It was important to us. And when he, you know, got his driver's license, there was no question, you know, and it was something that we had talked about ourselves, you know, as his parents. And he was like, well, of course, you guys are a donor, I want to be a donor.
After he passed, Jaden's life was able to save like 5 or 6 lives. His heart, his eyes gave someone sight, his heart, his liver, and was able to, his life still lives on, you know.
Jaden and his family have always been advocates for organ donation. And they say that if you have the opportunity to save a life, well, there's no reason not to.
Jaden, as soon as he was able to get his license, from what I know, like immediately put that he was an organ donor. So it's one of those things of just like honoring his memory, you know, and just making awareness of the importance of being an organ donor. I changed my license.
There's, I think as an average, like every 10 minutes, there's like 20 donors that are put on the list nationwide. And it's just so important. You know, they say share your spare. You know, you can't take it with you.
Jaden lived his life to the fullest and enjoyed just about every waking minute he had. There's a certain beauty that such a spirited individual can give so much life to others and even live on through them.
I know with Danine, she said that, you know, one day she would hope to meet the recipient of Jaden's heart and his eyes. Maybe hear his heart beating and like see his eyes again and like, yeah.
It gives you that your son continues, you know, for our son continues on in this world, you know. That was really important.
Losing a loved one is one of the most difficult things any person can face. To give a silver lining to such a tragic situation is next to impossible. But to touch other people's lives in the process and help extend the legacy of those who have passed will undoubtedly help along the way. For At Your Leisure, I'm Nick Chase.
Jacques Cousteau, are you in there? Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are down here at the Search and Rescue Conference at Fishlake, and we've got Cammie with us, and we're in the world of drones. It's totally changed search and rescue. And of course, everybody thinks in aerial drones with their infrared night things, and we've seen all the spy movies. But this is something that took me by surprise. You have an underwater drone.
I do. It's called an M2 Chase Me. He is actually the second of his leisure in the drone world, the underwater drones. There's one that's bigger than him. It's called an M2 Chase Me Pro. He has sonar, so he's able to go in and actually look. This one right here is capable of detecting thermal and heat, and he's also can see in front of him. So during murky water, we can see about 3 feet with the lights on. With water like this, I can see anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, just depending on if I don't hit the bottom and kick up mud.
Well, what does it take to put one of these in the water?
So put them in the water. If you can see all these cords, this is called a tether. It's a 200-foot tether. So as long, you have to understand, he can go as deep as this tether is long. So if I've got a 400-foot tether, we're gonna go 400 feet deep.
Oh, wow.
So he's capable of withstanding a lot of different temperatures. So he does run on a battery, but this tether is connected to this, so I am able to control him no matter what. So at this time, we're gonna go ahead and start his engines, just do a pre-check on him. So he goes through his pre-check list. So at this time, like, he's good to go and he's ready. Do you wanna throw him?
Oh yeah, I think we should. Now, if he decides to be uncooperative, does you just
I go fishing for a drone and he reels back in.
So that's a drone fishing
Yes.
pole.
Yes, it
All right,
is.
let's make this thing fly or swim. And there he goes. Well, we got a lot of things to do, but I want to get this thing flying, so we're going to take off from here, and we're going to be watching you while you take a look at next week's show.
Next week, Kevin and Gina are engulfed in tradition as they visit the original National ATV Jamboree in Millard County.
Then, the 50 Trails in 50 Weeks continues, and this time we're venturing out of Marysville to a quiet getaway for outdoor enthusiasts as we visit the beauties of Otter Creek State Park.
Finally, as the heat of the summer is bearing down on us, many families look to escape to cooler weather in the mountains and lakes. And with camping season now in full swing, we'll show you how one group thrives with strength in numbers. Well, it's been a fantastic day out here in Fishlake with the search and rescue guys. These dudes are stellar. They really are. And listen, you should help these guys out. Your families, this is a great card you can get, like a search and rescue card, right?
Yeah, from the Office of Outdoor Recreation.
Yeah, and it's an insurance card, and it will totally help you and your families. It'll help these guys out too when they come out to get you.
Right, it provides money for search and rescue teams around the state.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got James Byers here, and he is an expert in knots. How many knots do they use?
Roughly 20.
About 20. So there's one today that was kind of new that I saw.
Yeah, it's called the Alpine Butterfly.
Show us how that works.
So what you do is take it, loop it over your hand like this. Stick your fingers under and grab the middle rope.
Okay.
Pull yourself a little bit of slack.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to tuck that tail through everything. Okay.
Okay.
Pull that tight. Dress your knot. And then you can always tell if you got it right because the two are
Equals.
parallel on this side and cross on this side.
All right.
That's a beautiful knot.
Easy. I could even tie that one.
Heck yeah, you could.
So,
Put it on your saddle.
Yes, exactly right. There's adventure around every bend.
You just got to get out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure.
And be safe out there.